an expression of your love, of your unique qualities, who you are at the core, that hasn't yet been fully expressed. Welcome to Dr. Laura Ciel, the podcast. I am Dr. Laura Ciel. Welcome if you are new here. I'm so glad that you're here. And if you've listened to other episodes previous to this, I'm glad you're back as well. Today, I just wanted to come on. I don't have a guest today. I want to share something that has been coming up in, I want to say, all of the work I'm doing with clients. I'm trying to think if there's a situation where it hasn't come up recently. No, I think it's come up in all of them, if not like 99%. And it's coming up in my personal life. And people I'm meeting, I've been doing a lot of traveling lately. Um, this is a conversation, or it's something that's happening in a lot of people's lives, and I want to speak to that. And what that is a sense of, the best way I can describe it would be something like everything looks good, right? Maybe not great, or maybe it's great. Everything looks great, or everything looks good in my life, right? It looks like I have this great career. It looks like I have this great family. It looks like I have this great relationship. I look like I have it all together from the outside, right? If someone outside of you who is looking from their perspective, looks at the external circumstances, the tangible evidence, and they would say, it looks like things are going really well for her. It looks like he's in a really good place, right? And at the same time, there's a feeling of, it might feel like a disconnection. It might feel like a deep sadness, not so much a depression, but just almost like a missing or a grieving of something. It might feel like a bit of confusion around, if you could put words to it, something along the lines of, I thought things were going to be a little bit different. Something's missing that I thought was going to be there, but I can't quite put my finger on it. And I want to speak to that because, like I said, all of my clients currently have some aspect of that, and people I'm meeting in my personal life and in my travels have mentioned this. I believe it's because the world is changing so quickly. I believe that it is partly because we are in a particular time, space, dimension in humanity where the way that we've been doing things up until now is cannot continue. That's my belief. And I believe that if you have that feeling or that sense of something just being a little bit off, that you know that there's some other and look, I'm not talking about a complete career change. I'm not talking about you don't have to leave relationships. I'm not talking about any of that. That does happen sometimes, but that's not what we're going for. What 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 I'm speaking to is, like, there's some way that as you as a soul in a human body, that somehow there's an expression of your love, of your unique qualities, who you are at the core, that hasn't yet been fully expressed. And that's a tricky thing. It's not like a really easy left brain thing to say, oh, yes, well, I don't have these particular skills, so I'm going to go back and get my MBA, for example. That's pretty clear. Or I'm going to go back and do this training to build these particular skills. I'm talking about something that's a little bit, it's intangible, right? But there's just a feeling. And so what do you do with that? What is it, first of all? And I'll share my belief on that. I touched on it just a minute ago. But and then therefore what, right? What do you do? This is not meant to just suddenly dramatically change everything in your life. But I believe that we're being asked to really check in with ourselves as amazing beings, amazing souls on this planet, I believe that we are being asked to check in and to just pause and see if there's something that we either hid starting when we were young because we thought somehow it was weird or didn't fit in or people wouldn't like us or whatever the story is. So something that we've been hiding or something that is emerging that maybe we weren't aware of previously. This could be, it could potentially come up when there has been some, well, certainly a death in the family. I know that's how it happened with me 23 years ago when my mom died. It just completely changed my perspective and made me, it opened my eyes to another level of what was going on and had me asking, am I really living my life fully? It could be a health, something with your health. It could be something with the health in someone in your family. It could be something going on with someone else who you care about, who you love about. That's a challenging thing, whether it's a child or someone else, you know. There are a lot of different tangible things that can prompt or lead to this feeling. It doesn't really matter what that is. I believe that we're all being asked to check in on this. And the reason why I believe this is the case is because you have something in your soul, in your entire being, however you want to look at it, that is wanting to be expressed in the world. And maybe even being seen and heard and connected with. So anytime we feel a disconnection, it's first a disconnection with ourselves. And so I'm just going to share. This isn't hard and fast. This is just food for thought, right? It's something I'm thinking about because I've seen it so much right now. What do I do? Do I leave my job? Do I leave my relationship? No, no, no. Don't do any of that. Like that may happen, but that's to try to take tangible action when you don't have the internal awareness first is honestly just going to lead to more issues. So the internal work is when do you feel really good? Is there something that you do just for you that has you feeling really, really good? And or is there something that some place that you can go in real life or in your imagination that has your whole body, your whole being feeling good? Is there music? Is there art? Is there nature? Are there colors? Are there sounds? Now, really asking yourself, what is it that feels good? These are just clues. I like to think of it as clues on the treasure hunt of life. So you're looking for the clues of what feels really good. And then what you're also doing is you're looking for the clues of what doesn't feel good. So starting to identify where and when do I feel off, right? When I'm having a conversation with this person, I just don't feel, I feel a little bit off. I don't feel alive. What's happening there? What's going on? Is it the topic? Is it the energy of the person? Is it that I'm being pulled somewhere else? And just without judgment, as best as possible, just be curious around where you feel really good and where you feel not so good. And start to make some really small changes. What would it look like if I did this? For example, in that conversation, if you're having a conversation and you feel drained at the end of it, what if I entered into a conversation with this person and I was more intentional around what that conversation is? Would I feel good? Now, the answer might be yes, the answer might be no. You know, what if we talk about aspirational things rather than all the aches and pains in our bodies, for example, or all the problems at work, for example? What if we talk about more aspirational things? Does that have me feeling better? It may or it may not. Is it the particular person? Um, is it the location? I don't know about you, but I can go into certain locations and feel drained. And it doesn't have anything to do with a particular person or a particular conversation. topic. It can just be the space. Now, I'm incredibly energetically sensitive, and some people are more so, some people are less so. So just being curious about what feels good, being curious about what doesn't feel so good, and then without judgment, looking at how can I tweak things a little bit so that I feel a little bit better in this. Can I do a little bit more or bring a little bit more of what brings me joy into my life? We all can do that, no matter how busy we are. Can I decrease the areas that are really draining me? And what would that look like? Small, small increments, right? And then what this allows us to do, and I know that sounds really simple, and the whole point is, yes, to be able to start doing it today, right? Not to put it off for when you have time. The intention is start bringing it into your life. And the reason for that, keep it simple so that you can start doing it right away. You can start seeing results. Think of it as an experiment. You're just trying out what works and what doesn't work. And then the second piece of this is over time, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time, but what you'll start to notice is even when there's, let's say, chaos around you or disasters that are happening or really scary things with family members or with your own job or your own health, what the intention is with this is to be able to move through the challenging parts while also maintaining a deep connection to yourself. And I know that sounds really simple, but I believe that with everything going on, that we're being asked to do that. We're being asked to nourish, to nurture, to grow, to expand that connection with ourselves. Now, I will say, I think part of the reason we're being pulled to do that is I do think that the world is going to continue to go through some pretty challenging times. And I think this is part of our way of being able to navigate those in a way that where we stay physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually healthy and connected. The second thing I want to say about kind of the why is I don't know if you feel this, but I certainly see it in the people I work with. There is a very strong feeling coming up in many, many people of wanting to contribute, to serve, to express, to share their unique gifts with the world. And even if they don't know exactly what that looks like, there's this like, oh, I want to help. Like I want to reach out. I want to do something. I want to make this better. And this is the truth. Like as good as your intentions are around that, if you do not develop and expand that deep connection with yourself, you will not be able to express that. You will not be able to serve at your highest capacity, no matter what your role is. So I have a lot of my leadership entrepreneur clients who don't always naturally take time for themselves because they're looking at serving their team, serving their community, serving their customers, serving their families, serving everyone else, right? It's very important to them. And when I start to talk about things like taking a little bit of time to do the things that feel good, that nourish you, that bring joy, it's like, no, but I've got stuff to do, right? Well, you will never be able to have your greatest positive impact on the world in your unique way if you don't care for yourself. So that second piece is to the why I believe we're feeling this feeling of unsettledness is we're being asked to reconnect with who we really are and what we're really meant to do, the impact that we're meant to have, the unique expression that is yours alone, that only you can bring into the world. And this world needs that right now. I know I've talked about this before, but I want you to think about When you feel good, when you're in flow, when you're having fun, when you're playing, when you're in that space that is just joy, your joy, you are connected to the deeper part of you. And if that's the only way that that shows up in the world right now, do you know that if every single person that we connected with as we went through our day, if every single person was in that state, can you imagine? Just imagine how you would feel if every single thing that you needed to do today for the rest of the day, if every single person was in that state of really being connected to who they are and in that sense of joy and almost, I want to say, awe or wonder of the world. And there's also a little bit of acknowledgement that you matter. That's something maybe we can talk about another time because that's a little bit hard for some people, but you do matter. But could you imagine just how different it would be? And that's a very simple thing. So just want to I just want to express that it doesn't have to look a certain way. It doesn't have to be one big, huge thing that you're going to do. You don't have to leave everything you're doing. If you just made the shift to connect deeper with, and I don't know if this resonates with you, but your soul, the deeper part of who you are right now in this time space that we're living in on this planet, and you connect in with that in a deeper way, and you're like, oh, this feels good, right? I'm in joy around this. Um, being, just being who you are. That would shift everything in the world. So, since I work with a lot of leaders, change makers, trailblazers who are changing things in the world for the better, this is step one. So, no matter where you are in your journey, no matter what's happening in your journey, no matter how hard it is right now, because I know it's really hard for a lot of people, if there's one thing that you could do that would shift things surprisingly a lot for you, your own experience, but also everyone who comes into contact with you, is to just pause, go out in nature if you need to, do the thing that feels good for you, and allow yourself to connect with that part of you, the part of you that is amazing and is love and is connection and is desire, and just be in it a little bit. So that's what I wanted to share today. Wherever you are in your journey, I'm so grateful you're here. I'm Dr. Laura Ciel. And if you have anyone that you are just loving to hear, wanting to hear as a guest on my podcast, please feel free to send me a message. And if you haven't already done it, if you are enjoying the show, please subscribe, comment, let me know. This is for you. I'm doing it for all of us. And my only intention is to go into the deeper part of things and look for the fun and look for a shift in perspective and look for the really simple things that we can do that can inspire us throughout our day.